Hi, and welcome back to Pedagogy Pods. It's a fresh year for us, it's our 11th year, and you know that. Well, today we have a very special one, and we have a theme where we are sitting with one of our friends here who is an art expert. So, having taught at Sanskriti in many schools, she's here to actually help our dilemma, dive further into our dilemma. So, what is our dilemma today is they say that every child is an artist. Do you agree? I'm not sure because I'm really not sure. Because you know what happens? When you say every child is an artist, and I remember my art class, if someone asked me to draw, anything, my hesitation was it perfect or not? Are the lines in place? Are the colors in place? My my mind was never towards drawing because that was a kind of a fear for me. So, am I really an artist? I don't know. And actually, what do you think?
Actually, rightly said. I also have a fear of that because I can't draw a straight line. But in my teaching experience, and especially as a language expert, I found that it's a form of expression.
Hmm.
And it's a
Okay.
beautiful form of expression because students, uh, when they are into creating some, if you give something, draw something out of the story, they are so engaged in that. They are so, everyone is making it beautiful and they are not scared of,
Yeah,
in
you're so
my
right.
experience.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
every picture is so different, so lively to me. So I
Yes.
think it's a form of expression. Otherwise we can always ask our art expert.
No, of course, Charu, what
Yeah.
she's saying and what she's
Yes,
coming from,
yes.
even if she says she doesn't know how to draw a straight line, I don't think drawing a straight line makes you an artist or not. But I think
Absolutely, absolutely.
she has a flair for art. Not as much as me, but then she does have, right? Am I
Yes,
right?
yes, yes,
Go
absolutely.
ahead, please.
So, what I feel is that everyone has that inherent ability to create
Mm-hmm.
and be creative.
Oh, nice.
Okay, so you can express yourself in
Hmm.
different ways.
Hmm.
And like she said, I can't draw a straight line. You don't have to draw a straight line.
Yeah.
So, like, I'll just start with an example. Suppose I'm teaching you portraits.
Hmm.
Okay, I've taught whatever, there's a lot of math in it, this much, and three-fourth, and one-fourth, and all of that. But when I tell the class of 20 students
Hmm.
that I want you to make a self portrait,
Hmm.
do you think it's going to be same? It's going to be different. Even if I tell
Absolutely.
them that, okay, draw your teacher,
Hmm.
I'm sitting here.
Hmm.
So everybody has the same assignment.
Hmm.
But the way they interpret it,
Hmm.
the way they express it,
Hmm.
it could be, somebody who loves me would do it differently to somebody who says, oh, she's little strict. I would,
Oh,
make
is
her
it?
in a
Yeah.
different way. How do
Yeah.
I portray that particular emotion?
Hmm. Okay.
That is what art is all about. Or,
That's a very
yeah.
interesting one, Charu. On that, tell me, let's say, so I was trying to visualize myself in your class, and I'm still that fluttery one who doesn't know how to do anything.
Yes,
You've taught me the nuances of making a portrait. Okay, let's
yes.
reach there. That I know the nuances, I know the dimensions and the
Hmm.
maths behind it. Being a math teacher, but what I'm scared of is when you said every child has their own way of expressing. How do you stimulate or excite me towards expressing?
See, first thing that I have learned as a teacher, because you're constantly evolving and learning. And that passion that I have for art, I want to instill that in all my students. So, how does it come? With the first thing that you're saying, that the fear of
Yes.
the final outcome has to go.
Yeah.
It is easier to work with younger children because they
Hmm.
are not scared.
Yeah. Of course.
They are so free, and the way they express themselves, it's amazing. But the same thing to do with adults, to tell them that it is the process of making your artwork.
Hmm.
That is what you have to enjoy,
Yeah.
and not focus so much on the final outcome.
Yeah.
Then, because you are enjoying the journey,
Hmm.
the final outcome would
Automatic.
eventually be good. Maybe
Hmm.
not the first time,
Hmm.
but maybe the 10th time or the nth time, whenever you're doing.
Yeah.
So you have
Exactly.
to be at it.
Yeah. Actually, you're right. Come to think of it, when you're talking about it, what came to my mind was my fear was how is it going to look at the end of it? I'm not
Yes.
even thinking about staying in that process with you. So, probably it's not about aesthetics, it's not about how it is going to look. It
Hmm.
is more about What
Yes.
did I do in the process? What was my thinking? What was I really flowing with the flow that you wanted me to go with?
And did you have fun?
And did I have
That is
fun?
was
Was I
is so
immersed in
important.
it?
Yes.
Yeah. So if I'm immersed in it, I will
Hmm.
automatically express better. Hmm, interesting. You know what? When you say beyond aesthetics, to me, I mean, as a
Hmm.
homeroom teacher, the most art that we had to put our minds into was making a class board. You remember, right?
Yes, that
Yeah,
was a
making a
fearful
class
thing.
board was like a piece of art for us, and getting those. I think every school that we walk into, the corridors, you look at those boards, they are artistically designed. But is that really artistically designed? I'm thinking, no, I think they're aesthetically appealing, but maybe that's not an expression of learning. So there is a difference, and we need to go beyond aesthetics. So how do you help, or how do you formulate beyond aesthetics?
So if we are talking only of class boards right
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
okay, and so the thing is that why are we making the boards?
Hmm.
Why?
Hmm.
So the first thing is that okay, sometimes it's just to put some information.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and most of the time, it
Hmm.
is to put a message across.
Yeah.
Right? In the schools, that's what you want.
Hmm.
But then, how would you want the child to stop over there and read and understand what you've done?
Yeah.
So you, of course, the aesthetics comes into it.
Hmm.
But if you are, then you have to look at the age group,
Hmm.
look at, okay, if it's the senior group, what is going to appeal to them,
Hmm. Hmm.
what color schemes would appeal, what
Hmm.
messages that you are putting across.
Hmm.
And the best would be that if you can make it interactive,
Hmm.
like you have a jigsaw puzzle, put there, and you have to put it together, or a crossword, or you have written some thought,
Yeah.
and it is making them think, and then you put a notepad there,
Hmm.
or some blank papers, and what are your thoughts, what do you think?
Yeah.
So then, and if at the end of the day, I mean, I have put up boards like this, at end of the day there were so many, and I would display all of them.
Yeah.
So then that thing, oh, my chit was over there.
Yeah.
So everybody is reading that.
Yeah.
So and there was one where I it was a word jumble.
Hmm.
No, so
And
another board,
Hmm.
and there was a box, and where they had to unjumble and put it.
Hmm.
And at the end of the day, I would put the name of the winners.
Lovely.
So
that
that
is so
was
Lovely.
such
insightful.
a
Yeah.
That is so
winner, because
insightful.
Yeah.
they love doing it. Oh, my
Mhm.
name is there, and today, and then you know there was times then they would come running to me in the
Yeah.
break and say they've run out of chits. Can you put
This is
more
such a
paper
good
there?
use of board,
That's
Yeah.
display
immersing
board.
them in
That's
learning,
really
not
beautiful.
just
Yes.
putting up boards for
Uh,
information's
in,
sake,
yes,
but
yes.
actually making them interactive, inviting student responses. Remember, we talked about this in another episode where we talked
Mm-hmm.
about making thinking visible. This is
Yeah.
literally making their thinking visible. And for me, Charu, boards in our class and IB classrooms were more about making students thinking visible. I don't remember, if you remember, those days from our workshops where
Mhm.
people say, do you need a border, when we ask them for boards, do you need a border for that? I said, no, what we're going to use is whatever's
Yeah.
lying around.
Yes.
So I would just tear the paper like this, and I would make a border for that particular piece. It will
Uh-huh.
look like a
And
frame.
it looked like artistic.
It looked
Yes.
very artistic, but it just looked like a frame. And I've reused the paper. I've not,
Mhm. Yeah.
thought about the
Recycled.
aesthetics.
Yes.
I've recycled, and the only work that went on board was students' work. So,
Yes.
that's something I think. One thing, do not focus on aesthetics. Please go beyond aesthetics. And actually, your take on this.
My experience was the same because I was really into the making those putting stamp on the borders and this and that. And then one of the maths teachers, she told me, ki just take a strip and just tear it off and put it around. And it was
Uh-huh.
so quick.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it was more
And it
artistic than
worked
my
worked well.
my that also. So art has different forms.
She's just mentioned something very valuable. The math teacher told her.
Yes.
The art integration with math just happened.
Just happened.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
There was
Wonderful.
just one more, if I
Yeah,
could
please, please,
share.
please.
I just remembered as
Yeah.
we were talking. So there was this EVS teacher, and she was talking about recycling and saving nature and all of that. So I said, okay, let's talk about fast fashion,
Hmm.
because all the students, all the teachers are into buying more clothes, and
Yeah.
how much goes into it, and So what we did was we involved from I think grade 7 to 10 all sections. So they designed clothes with uh, recyclable material. Then they put that up, and along with that, then we wrote that okay, a pair of jeans takes this many gallons of water.
Wow, that's
Okay,
such a
so the
nice
child has
thing.
designed
Okay.
the jeans
My
with
God, that's
you know
beautiful.
just
Yeah.
paper and
Yeah,
scraps.
yeah,
And
yeah. But
they
this
have
is
written it. Then the same way, whatever the shoes, how much goes into it. Then what happens when you discard? So we had a pile of discarded clothes there. So that way, when
it was so
it created
informative.
such
Yeah.
a buzz,
I'm
and it
sure.
was a whole corridor that was done up like that. So
So
what happens? And we even put a mirror there. So which said, because that made people stop, because you know what happens if there is a mirror. So it was
It's a
reflect
reflection.
and
Yeah.
be conscious.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was such a buzz.
Beautiful
Amazing,
idea, really.
amazing. Yeah.
Actually, yeah. And they normally say that in a classroom, I know it's breakable and whatever, we need to follow the safety rules and everything, but we must have a mirror in the class. It not only just helps, you to build your confidence, but it's also good to have a reflective piece like this. When
Yeah.
I'm angry, what do I look like? So we used to do these activities with children. I remember grade three. This used to be our social emotional exercises where we used to say, bring a hand mirror tomorrow. So they used to bring a hand mirror and we used to say, okay, make an expression. So you're angry, how do you look? So you're crying, how do you look? So you're smiling, now what do you like better? So laughing,
Yes.
look how beautiful you look. So that's a very good way of
Using
building
the
up, yeah, your own self-esteem as
what a
well.
great idea.
Yeah,
What a great idea.
I'm sure you do too have many ideas that are amazing. Go ahead and share something with us.
I would love to ask Charu actually some questions
Mhm.
because I used to teach Hindi and there were stories which were very demanding.
Yes.
Some from some old era or some stories which students wanted to make cartoons of or make
Yes.
strips of. So,
Comic
how can
strips.
the art class and a language class or some other class can work together that it makes the both the subjects integrated or maybe more subjects? It's not only two
Yeah, not
subjects.
only
Maybe
languages.
it's
Yes.
Great question,
so. I
actually.
want to
Yeah.
ask
Yeah.
about
Great
that. How
question.
did you work with that?
So integrating
Yeah.
art into different subjects. So
Mm-hmm.
language lends itself.
Lens itself.
History,
It's
maths,
trees
the
also. Yeah.
Fibonacci sequence,
Yeah.
the golden ratio, all of those things. So for language in particular, it depends. See, the integration starts from you and me being willing to do it.
Yes.
Okay.
True.
Yes.
So sometimes I've seen there is a hesitation from the subject teacher that, and it stems from the same fear.
Yeah.
I don't know art.
Yeah.
I can't draw.
Yeah.
How can I
How
integrate
can I
art into my
integrate?
subject?
Yeah.
So once that you get over that, and then you have to plan. Okay, so the plan has to be in place.
Which is important.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
is
I
very
agree with
important.
you.
That is
That's
I
true.
mean,
the
you
most
can't. I mean,
important thing.
Meenakshi can't just walk into and say, "Okay,
Uh,
today I'm going to do an art integrated
that's a
Hindi
huge
class."
Yeah.
this thing. Yes,
So
yes.
that
We should
planning has
plan
to
it.
happen, whether it's a small project
Yes.
or if it's a larger
Agree.
project.
Yeah.
Then do you want to work as a team,
Mm-hmm.
and which of the topics maybe you said poetry.
Poetry, yes.
Okay, so they how are they going to are they going to
Yeah.
make books, or are they going to make those exploding books that open up
Yep.
and
Mm-hmm.
pop up with
Hmm.
stories,
Hmm.
and
Mm.
or are, like you said, comic strips that
Mm.
really
Yeah.
the children
That's very
enjoy.
interesting.
Mm.
Correct.
So what is the form of art
Yeah.
that you are
Yeah.
incorporating in your
Mhm.
lesson,
Mhm.
and what medium are you using,
Yeah.
and uh, are we including all kinds of learners?
Ah.
There are children who are good, uh, aesthetically.
Yeah.
Some are good with their verbal skills. So maybe if they are making puppets, so the artistic
Wow.
ones can make the puppet,
Yeah.
Yes.
and the guys who are good with speaking can enact,
Yeah.
and those who are good with background. So everybody is involved in the project.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we have to look at the learners, that
So
what
insightful. Yes.
inspires
And,
them, and what are their strengths. Otherwise what happens is, in these group projects, there are some who will not do
will
anything,
be lost.
True.
Yeah.
True.
who will
True.
be lost.
True.
So those, and and what
Inclusion is
yeah,
important.
inclusion is very important, and the
And for
learning
that,
objective,
planning is important.
and what
yes.
is your
You should
learning
know-
objective.
Yeah, you should know what are you
Yeah.
aiming for.
Aiming
It's
for,
it's very easy
Yes.
to lose track of
Ah.
where you are.
And then the time, always the time crunch.
Time crunch is
So how
always
much
there
time
with the
are we
teacher.
giving?
So guys, I think planning is the most important part,
Yes.
as far as I can think of, sitting together as
Yeah,
teachers.
yeah.
And now I would like, Charu, can you please give us some example of what you created in the classroom, because I am sure you must be having so many.
Yeah, she must have many
Yeah.
masterpieces. Share one incident that you
So
feel that.
I was like I have taught from nursery grade 4. I mean age 4 to college students.
Wow.
But it's most enjoyable, honestly, to work with primary.
Yeah.
Like I told you,
I
they
also
have
agree.
no fear,
I do
and
agree
they
with that.
express themselves so beautifully. So
Yeah.
there's this story of Elmer the patchwork elephant. Okay,
Mhm.
so the story itself lends
Name is
to
also
the to color.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so we read the story, and um, then I said, okay, what is your interpretation of the elephant?
Yeah.
So they made the elephant,
Huh.
and then we put up a board in which we wrote the story
Hmm.
along with this.
Hmm.
And then they created, they said, oh, we have, Elmer was in the forest or whatever. So all of that came,
Yeah.
and it made such a beautiful board with their work.
Yeah.
Wow.
There was nothing of me in there.
How
It
beautiful.
was just their work,
The
and I
picture
just
is
wrote the
coming in my
story.
mind now.
Yeah.
The colorful patchwork elephant
Yeah.
and the
Yeah, the
children
same
must-
way Eric Carle's stories. So
I was just
the
moving
hungry
towards Eric,
caterpillar.
the very hungry caterpillar.
So
Charu,
that also
as
we
you were
did.
saying,
Yeah.
it's literally like she said, it's painting a picture, and you're a great art teacher because you're literally painting it right in front of us, and all of us are looking at some walls. And believe you me, there are no painting walls over here, but we're literally looking at the walls. With her
We
vision.
can imagine.
Yeah, we're flowing with our vision. So
Yeah.
that's something that's really amazing. And like you said, Eric Carle's books. Then you have Peter Reynolds' books. I am
Yes.
a big fan of Peter Reynolds' books.
Mhm.
The Dot is one of my favorites. I've
Okay.
spoken
Yeah.
about it. We'll talk
Uh-huh.
about that also another time. But uh, what I want to put here is what I want to bring this whole piece together of what we've said and what we've heard, because we hadn't spoken about this before. One is that to bring down the fear, sometimes unintentional, uninterrupted artwork. For example, we used to have these long running chart papers, right? And any
Yes.
child can draw whatever they want on it. And I
Yes.
remember I thanked Isha for this. Isha, I always thank you for this. That was a wonderful idea. It's a great icebreaker when you start the year. So today's day one. Just go ahead and put whatever you want on the paper, but the paper would be one big roll. Yeah, so that you're a part of a class and you have your piece, the way you said.
Yes.
You have your piece, and then the art teacher will just take a paintbrush and put some strokes out there to make it
Oh,
beautiful.
must
Yeah.
be so
To
lovely.
put it
was great.
together.
Yeah, to
Yeah.
put it together. So she used bold colors, and the students would use or the thin pens or crayons to draw. So that whole piece came together. Now that was unintentional yet intentional. She had a goal in mind, but the goal wasn't really shared with students. So there could be multiple ways to bring down those fears. One, structured way of working, like making portraits and other things. In unintentional or intentional ways of bringing it together, bringing in different subjects, language, mathematics, whatever you want. But at the end of the day, we should be able to achieve that every student is an artist and must have art as a form of expression in the learning environment.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much,
Thank
Charu. This was absolutely wonderful. And I'm sure everybody's benefited a lot. We're going to have you again over here on our couch with another topic because she's got immense experience and I think we'll gain a lot from her. But honestly,
Of
thanks
course, it
so
was
much.
so fruitful.
Thank you so
It was
much.
so nice.
I
Thank
enjoyed
you.
talking to you.
Thank you
Pleasure.
so much. Thank
See
you.
you next time. Bye bye.
Bye.